Putting it down for now.
All right. And let me know when
And
it.
we are live on
Okay.
YouTube.
All right. Mine always
And
just says
Vicky looks so gorgeous today.
And
You
that's
too.
recorded.
So
So,
festive.
welcome to
Posterity.
our reading of Table Read Tuesday's version of Forrest Gump, the second half of our script today. And we're sorry
Vicky
we have
looks
a
so
little bit of
gorgeous today.
delay, and we'll have a little bit of recording delay there too. You can hear that. Hopefully, that will stop. Um, and we're going to start with some introductions
I'm
and then
watching it
jump
up.
into our script. So, let's start with Vicky and then go down to Anamika.
Hello, I'm Vicky Dykes. I'm from Penhold, Alberta, Central Alberta, up in Canada. I go by she, her for pronouns. And tonight I'll be starting off as Forrest Gump. I'm very excited about that. And I'm also Mrs. Gump later. And a couple of small roles, Mrs. Blue, Old Shrimper, Elderly Woman, and Wesley. You can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook under the name Vicky Dykes and also Instagram. I'm Yoga Grandma 10.
Awesome. Let's jump over to Anamika.
Hi, my name is Anamika Farrow. I'm in Sacramento, California. My pronouns are she, her. I'm reading a lot of parts again tonight, but I think only like 25 today, as last week it was more. But yeah, you can also find me on Facebook as well.
All right, and Abiskar.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh. Okay, so I'm Abiskar, and this is my probably uh, almost a year in Table Read Tuesdays. We're doing Forrest Gump today. I'm reading the action and description for Act 3 and Act 5. I love my coffee, and I love reading. That's all. Can't hear you. Wait.
You're muted, Kat.
Matthew? Matthew, you want to introduce yourself?
Matthew.
Did he fall asleep?
Yes, I'm Matthew, and I am playing very many parts. One of the main parts I'm playing is Jenny.
All right. Sounds great. I am Kat Wilson and Gikara Washington, she, her pronouns. And tonight we're reading the part of Lieutenant Dan, unless we have a few cast members that may be delayed. And if they show up, then we'll switch those around. But otherwise, we will go right ahead and get started out here. I need to pull up our script and get to our right page, which is 41. I think. So for those of you who didn't see the first half, we met Forrest and watched him go out through elementary school, up through college, and then eventually did a tour in Vietnam. And along the way, he, of course, had lots of interesting experiences as dealing with discrimination, and his love interest, Jenny, who he's obviously in love with her. She's not necessarily reciprocating his feelings. So she has not been writing back any of his letters from Vietnam, and he's just finished his tour, and we'll see what happens from there. So I'm going to go ahead and share our script, and we'll get going. We'll make this a little larger for you folks here in a sec. Let's see, we just got through Vietnam. We want to go home, and we are at the bus station. Let's see here.
Could be a little bigger.
Yes, I'm gonna make it slightly larger here. It's just taking my computer a sec. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see,
better.
action descriptions, Abika. We'll start with the bus station day.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it? We're right here.
Yeah, I can
Page
see. Wait.
41.
Also pulling up here. Wait. Yeah. So bus station day. Forrest continues with his life story. A man is sitting next to Forrest on the bench.
That's all I have to say about that.
Matthew, that's you.
Okay, sorry. It was a bullet, wasn't it?
A bullet?
That jumped up and bit you.
Oh, yes, sir. Uh, Bit me directly in the buttocks. They said it was $1 million wound, but the army must keep that money, 'cause I still ain't seen a nickel of that $1 million. The only good thing about being wounded in the buttocks.
Flashback, interior, US Army Hospital, Vietnam, day. Forrest holds two ice cream cones in his hands as he is wheeled on a rolling stretcher.
Is the ice cream they gave me all the ice cream I could eat. And guess what? A good friend of mine was in the bed right next door.
Forrest, lying on his stomach, is wheeled to his bed. Forrest's butt sticks up and is bandaged. Forrest looks at Lieutenant Dan lying on the bed. Forrest holds out an ice cream cone for Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan, I got you some ice cream. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Lieutenant Dan, annoyed, takes the ice cream cone and drops it into his bedpan. Forrest slides himself onto his bed. A nurse reaches toward Lieutenant Dan.
Time for your bath, Lieutenant.
The male nurse places Lieutenant Dan's hand on a pull-up bar. He picks it up. He picks up Lieutenant Dan, whose legs have been amputated.
Harper,
Another nurse wheels the rolling bed under Lieutenant Dan. The male nurse sets Lieutenant Dan down on the rolling bed. Forrest looks up at Lieutenant Dan as he is wheeled away. A soldier reads the names from a pile of letters.
Cooper, Larson, Webster, Gump, Gump.
I'm Forrest Gump.
The soldier hands Forrest a large pile of letters. Undeliverable as addressed. No forwarding order on file. Jenny Curran, rural route to Greenbow, Alabama 39902. Forrest looks down at the pile of letters. Interior Army Hospital, Vietnam, day. A group of wounded soldiers hang out in the hospital, recuperating. Forrest sits and watches Gump on the television.
Gump, how can you watch that stupid shit? Turn it off! From the DMZ to the Delta, you are tuned in to American Forces Vietnam Network. This is Channel 6 Saigon.
Forrest turns the TV off, and he is hit on the back of the head by a ping pong ball.
Good catch, Gump. You know how to play this?
Forrest shakes his head.
Come on, let me show you. Here.
The wounded ping pong player hands Forrest a paddle. Forrest and the wounded ping pong player step toward the ping pong table.
Now the secret to this game is no matter what, never ever take your eye off the ball.
He holds the ball up and moves it back and forth. Forrest keeps his eye on the ball.
All right.
The wounded ping pong player tosses the ball down onto the table. Forrest begins to hit the ball back to the other player.
For some reason, ping pong came very natural to me.
See, any idiot can play.
So I started playing it all the time.
Forrest hits ping pong balls.
I played ping pong even when I didn't have anyone to play ping pong with.
The balls at land. The balls at land in a bedpan positioned on a chair. A group of wounded soldiers sit and watch Forrest play with himself. Forrest hits two balls at a time against the opposite side of the table.
The hospital's people said it made me look like a duck in water, whatever that means. Even Lieutenant Dan would come and watch me play.
Lieutenant Dan stares out the window. Forrest lies in his bed asleep. A hand reaches and grabs him.
I played ping pong so much, I even played it in my sleep.
Lieutenant Dan pulls Forrest to the floor and holds Forrest down.
Now, you listen to me. We all have destiny. Nothing yet just happens. It's all part of the plan. I should have died out there with my men. But now, I'm nothing but a goddamn cripple. A legless freak. Look! Look! Look at me! Do you see that? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it's like not to be able to use your legs?
Well, yes, sir, I do.
Did you hear what I said? You cheated me. I had a destiny. I was supposed to die in the field with honor. You cheated me out of it. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying, Gump? This was supposed to happen. Not to me. I had destiny. I was Lieutenant Dan Taylor.
You're still Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan looks at Forrest, lets go of Forrest, and rolls. Lieutenant Dan sits up as Forrest looks at him.
Look at me. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do now?
Interior, rec room, Vietnam hospital. Another day. Forrest plays ping pong by himself. An officer walks up to him.
PFC Gump.
Forrest immediately grabs the ball and places it down on the table under its paddle. Stands at attention.
Yes, sir.
As you were.
The officer holds up an envelope.
Son, you've been awarded the Medal of Honor.
Interior Vietnam hospital ward. Forrest steps up to Lieutenant Dan's bed.
Guess what, Lieutenant Dan? They want to give me.
Forrest stops in mid-sentence as he looks down at the bed. A heavily bandaged shoulder with blood stain lies there. Forrest turns and looks at the nurse.
Ma'am, well, what do they do with Lieutenant Dan?
They sent him home.
2 weeks later, I left Vietnam.
Interior barber shop, Green Bowl, day.
That's you too, Ebiskar.
The ceremony was kicked off with a candid speech by the president regarding the escalation of the war in Vietnam. President Johnson awarded for 4 medals of honor to men from each of the armed services. The television reveals Forrest as he is awarded the Medal of Honor by President Johnson.
Matthew, that's you, President Johnson.
Right. America owes you a debt of gratitude, son.
Ebiskar?
Uh, mm. Color footage revealing President Johnson as he places the award around Forrest's neck and shakes hands.
I understand you were wounded. Where were you hit?
In the buttocks, sir.
Oh, that must be a sign.
President Johnson leans and whispers into Forrest's ear.
I'd like to see that.
Interior barber shop. The television revealing Forrest as he drops his pants, bends over and shows the bullet wound on his bare buttocks. President Johnson looks up, looks down, and smiles. The 3 men in the barber shop look up in disbelief. Mrs. Gump looks up in shock. Matthew,
Matthew, that's you again.
Oh, hey, but, uh, what are you doing here so late? God darn, son.
exterior Lincoln Memorial Day. Forrest walks by the Lincoln Memorial. A fence surrounds the memorial as well as armed military guards.
After that, Mama went to the hotel to lay down. So I went out for a walk to see our national capital.
Okay, Hillary, all right. I've got the vets. What do you want me to do with them?
Come on. Sorry, I was just texting someone. What are you doing here so late?
Forrest takes a photo of the memorial as a woman named Hillary gathers together some veterans against the Vietnam War.
Matthew, that's you again still.
All right, sorry. Uh, we've been waiting for you half an hour. So just get them in a line, will you? Hey, come on, pictures later. You look great. Oh, come on, get in this line. Come on. Right in line. Come on, let them hear. Let them hear you in here.
Hillary grabs Forrest and puts him in the line with the other vets against the war.
It's a good thing Mama was resting, 'cause the street was awful crowded with people looking at all the statues and monuments, and some of them people were loud and pushy.
Hillary leads the lines of vets toward the large anti-Vietnam War rally.
Okay, follow me. Come on.
The group of vets walk as Forrest tries to take another picture. A vet behind him pushes him along.
Let's move it out.
Hey, buddy, come on. We could use your help.
Forrest walks in the line. A banner reads, Veterans Against the War in Vietnam.
Everywhere I went, I had to stand in line.
Follow me. Let's go.
Hillary leads the vets through a crowd of people outside the rally. Another woman, named Isabel, leads the vets toward the back of the stage.
All right, come on, guys.
Stand here.
Hey, you're a good man for doing this. You're good.
Okay.
A man wearing an American flag shirt stands on the stage. He is anti-war activist Abby Hoffman.
We must declare to that fucking imposter in the White House, Johnson, we ain't gonna work on your farm no more. Yeah.
There was this man giving a little talk, and for some reason, he was wearing an American flag for a shirt.
Now I'm gonna bring up some soldiers that are gonna talk about the war, man.
And he liked to say the F word a lot. F this and F that, and every time
That war has come home and we have to stop these politicians.
he said F word, people, for some reason, well, they'd cheer.
These guys just told Lyndon Johnson where to stick this fucking war. Yeah!
Forrest looks up at the cheering crowd. Abby turns and motions for Forrest to come up on the stage.
Hey, come on, man. Come up here, man.
Matthew,
Yes.
you're Hillary in this scene.
Come on up. Come on. Yeah, you.
Hillary pulls Forrest up onto the stage.
Come on, get up there. Come on, move. Let's go.
The other vets follow Forrest pushes onto the stage and push him toward the microphones.
Yeah, come on, go. You can do it. Yeah, just get up there. Go on. That's it.
Thousands of cheering protesters stand around the Washington Monument. Forrest looks at the crowd. Abby Hoffman steps up to Forrest.
Hey, tell us a little bit about the war, man.
The war in Vietnam?
The war in Viet fucking Nam.
Abby raises his first fist as the crowd cheers wildly.
Well, there was only one thing I could say about the war in Vietnam. Oh, there
Forrest,
was. Oh,
He gets to say it twice.
there was only one thing I could say about the war in Vietnam.
Forrest looks at the crowd as he speaks. A policeman looks around as he sneaks over to the audio circuit board.
In Vietnam War,
The policeman pulls the patch cords out of the audio board. Forrest's amplified voice becomes inaudible. Forrest continues to speak into the microphone, even though no one can hear what he's saying. Hillary looks over and notices the policeman. Hillary rushes over toward the audio board, pushes the policeman away, and grabs his nightstick. Another protester grabs the policeman and pulls him away.
Hey, what the hell you doing?
You're headed, you goddamn oinkler.
I don't even know who I
Isabel,
am. Oh,
Isabel, Hillary, and another protester try to plug the tangled mess of wires back into the audio board.
Christ, what did they do to this?
Forrest continues to speak into the microphone. The crowd grows restless.
Hey, we can't hear
can't hear
you.
you.
we can't hear
Can't hear
anything.
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 What this what? Give me that.
Hillary plugs in the right patch cord.
That's it.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Forrest looks at the massive crowd. They are silent. Abby Hoffman steps over to Forrest and pats him on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's so right on, man. You said it all. Hey, what's your name, man?
My name is Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump!
Abby
Forrest
raises
Gump.
her fist into the air. Abby steps away from Forrest. The crowd cheers.
Forrest
Forrest
Gump!
Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest.
Apiskar.
Jenny wades out into the reflection pool and waves her hand into the air. Forrest recognizes her.
Jenny.
Forrest rushes off the stage as Jenny makes her way out into the pool.
Forrest.
Forrest jumps down into the crowd and runs. Jenny smiles as she tries to run through the water. The crowd parts as Forrest runs into the pool. Jenny rushes towards him.
Hey, hey.
The massive crowd cheers for the embracing couple in the pool.
It was the happiest moment of my life.
Exterior Washington Monument, protesters encampment, night. Forrest and Jenny walk past the protesters who are camping out on the lawn.
Jenny and me were just peas and carrots again. She showed me around and even introduced me.
Interior Black Panther headquarters, storefront, DC, night. Forrest stands at an open window and looks at the White House.
To some of her new friends.
Black Panther, named Ruben, steps over and pulls the shades down. Ruben. Who's Ruben?
I don't know.
All right, got it. Let me hear. Who's Ruben?
I don't know.
Get that blind man. Get your blind ass away from that window. Don't you know we had war here? Hey, man, he's cool. He's cool. He's one of us. He's one of us.
Another Black Panther named Masai grabs Forrest and pats him down.
Matthew, want to say that line again?
Hey, man, he's cool. He's cool. He's one of us. He's one of us.
Hey, let me tell you about us.
Where the hell have you been?
I ran into a friend.
Our purpose here is to protect our black leaders from the racial onslaught of the pig who wishes to brutalize our black leaders, rape our women, and destroy our black communists. Hey, Masai, phone! Talk to these guys!
Who's the baby killer?
That's
This is
my
my
line.
good friend I told you about. This is Forrest Gump. Forrest, this is Wesley. Wesley and I live together in Berkeley, and he's the president of the Berkeley chapter of SCS.
Let me tell you something else.
I want to talk to you.
Okay, but
Now. Now, god damn it.
We are here to offer protection and help for all of those who need our help because we, the Black Panthers, are against the war in Vietnam. Yes, we are against any war where black soldiers are sent to the front line to die for a country that hates them. Yes, we are against any war where black soldiers go to fight and come to be brutalized and killed in their own communities as they sleep in their beds at night. Yes, we are against all these racist and imperial dog acts.
you are a fucking asshole.
Wesley hits Jenny across the face. Slow motion. Jenny falls back. Slow motion. Forrest steps forward with rage. Slow motion. Wesley turns and looks at Forrest. Forrest tackles Wesley and slams him onto the table. Jenny turns and looks at Masai, pulls out a gun.
Forrest, quit it, Forrest, stop it.
Jenny rushes over to Forrest and pulls Forrest off Wesley.
Stop it.
Jenny tries to help Wesley as he moans on the floor. Wesley knocks Jenny's hand away. He gets up, holding his bloody lip.
Oh my god. I shouldn't have found you here. Couldn't have brought you here. I should have known you're just gonna be some more bullshitter.
He should not be hitting you, Jenny.
Come on, Forrest.
Jenny steps out the door as Forrest picks up his hat. Sorry.
Sorry, I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther party.
Forrest and the group of Black Panthers glare at Forrest. Forrest turns and walks out the room. Exterior, Washington, D.C., night. Forrest and Jenny walk past the White House. Protesters hold a candlelight vigil behind.
He doesn't mean it when he does things like this. He doesn't.
I would never hurt you, Jenny.
I know you wouldn't, Forrest.
I wanted to be your boyfriend.
Sir?
Hello?
Avaskar? Did we lose you?
Yeah, they walk in silence. Jenny touches Forrest's uniform.
My uniform is a trip, Forrest. You look handsome in it. You do.
You know what?
What?
I'm glad we were here together in our national capital.
Me too, Forrest. I have so much to tell you. You won't believe what's been going on.
We walked around all night, Jenny and me, just talking.
Exterior Route 66, flashback day. Jenny stands in the rain, hitchhiking. A car pulls over to pick her up. Jenny and other girls get into the car.
She told me about all the traveling she's done.
Exterior commune in New Mexico night. A hippie gives Jenny a sugar cube of as they sit in front of a roaring fire.
And how she discovered ways to expand her mind and learn how to live in harmony.
Exterior Hollywood Walk of Fame Day. A star with the name Jane Harlow on the sidewalk. Jenny and two other girls sing on the sidewalk and collect change from the passerby. Jenny plays the guitar.
Which must be out west somewhere, 'cause she made it all the way to California.
Matthew?
All
Where's
right.
Jenny, Matthew?
Uh, smile on your brother, everybody. Get together now. Trying to say one another right. Oh,
A young hippie looks over his
you
faded
right there.
Volkswagen at the girls.
Hey, anybody want to go to San Francisco?
I'll go.
Far out.
Exterior Washington, D.C. dawn. Forrest and Jenny walk through the park.
It was a very special night for the two of us. I didn't want it to end.
Oh, when it's the holiday party. I'll let you know.
Exterior parking lot, early morning. Jenny carries a backpack as she prepares to board a bus back to Berkeley.
I wish you wouldn't go, Jenny.
Matthew, you're muted and you're the top of the scene here. Matthew,
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 are you there? And you're muted if you are.
I
if
have
you're
to,
there, Matthew.
Forrest.
Jenny, things have gotten a little out of hand. It's just this war and that lying son of a bitch Johnson. I would never hurt you. You know that.
You know what I think? I think you should go home to Greenbow, Alabama.
Forrest, we have very different lives, you know.
Forrest looks down at Jenny. He pulls his Medal of Honor from around his neck.
I want you to have this.
Forrest places the Medal of Honor in Jenny's hand. Jenny looks up at him.
Forrest, I can't keep this.
I got it just by doing what you told me to do.
Why are you so good to me?
You're my girl.
I'll always be your girl.
Jenny and Forrest hug each other. Wesley waits for Jenny. Jenny turns and walks up to Wesley. They walk toward the entrance of the bus. Forrest smiles as Jenny looks at her. Jenny climbs up into the bus. Wesley glares at Forrest. Forrest gives Wesley the evil eye. Jenny, through the near window of the bus, knocks on the window. Forrest turns and looks. Jenny waves to Forrest. Forrest looks up and smiles sadly. Jenny gives Forrest the peace sign as the bus pulls away. The sign on the back of the bus reads, Berkeley to DC. Forrest gives Jenny the peace sign.
And just like that, she was gone out of my life again.
Interior Veterans Administration Hospital, Rec Room, Day. A footage of Neil Armstrong's first step on the moon on television.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The surface is fine and powdery. I can pick it up loosely.
Forrest demonstrates a ping pong to some wounded vets.
I thought I was going back to Vietnam, but instead they decided the best way for me to fight communists was to play ping pong. So I was in the special services, traveling around the country, cheering up all them wounded veterans and showing them how to play.
Bus stop, present day. Forrest looks at a man.
Ping pong. I was so good that some years later,
Exterior China. Ping pong tournament. Flashback day. Forrest plays ping pong against a Chinese player. A large mural of Mao Zedong hangs on the wall. A crowd of communist leaders sit and watch.
the Army decided I should be on the All American ping pong team. We were the first Americans to visit the land of China in like a million years or something like that. And somebody said that world peace was in our hands. But all I did was play ping pong. And when I got home,
Bus stop, present day.
I was national celebrity, famouser even than Captain Kangaroo.
Color footage of the Dick Cavett show. Dick Cavett stands up as he introduces Forrest.
Here he is, Forrest Gump, right here.
Forrest makes his way onto the stage, shakes hand with Dick Cavett.
Hey, Mr. Gump, have a seat.
Forrest sits down between John Lennon and Dick Cavett.
Forrest Gump, John Lennon.
That's you, Matthew, and you muted.
Welcome home.
I got it. Mr. Gump, have a seat.
No,
No,
no, you're John Lennon.
Welcome home.
You had quite a trip. Can you tell us what was China like?
John Lennon lights a cigarette.
Well, in the land of China, people hardly got nothing at all.
No possessions.
And in China, they never go to church.
No religion, too.
Oh,
Hard to imagine.
well,
No, it's easy if you try, Dick.
Forrest looks oddly at John Lennon.
some years later, that nice young man from England was on his way home to see his little boy and was signing some autographs. And for no particular reason at all, somebody shot him.
Exterior studio later. A guard lets Forrest out a side entrance door. Forrest steps and then stops as he hears a man sitting in a wheelchair speak to him.
They gave you the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Now that's Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan.
Forrest looks at Lieutenant Dan. He's dirty with long hair.
They gave you the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yes, sir, they sure did.
They gave you an imbecile, a moron who goes on television and makes a fool out of himself in front of the whole damn country, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yes, sir.
Well, then, that's just perfect. Yeah, well, I just got one thing to say to that. God damn bless America.
Lieutenant Dan's wheelchair begins to slide down the ramp and spins around on the icy ground. Forrest looks down at Lieutenant Dan, crashes at the bottom of the ramp.
Lieutenant Dan!
Exterior New York City streets night. Taxicabs crowd the street as Forrest pushes Lieutenant Dan along the sidewalk.
Lieutenant Dan said he was living in a hotel. And because he didn't have no legs, he spent most of his time exercising his arms.
Take a right. Take a right.
A taxi driver honks his horn as Forrest wheels Lieutenant Dan out in front of the taxi.
Hey, come on already.
Ah!
What are you doing here in New York, Lieutenant Dan?
I'm living it off the government tit, sucking it dry.
A taxi skids to a stop, almost hitting them as they cross the street. The taxi honks at Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan slaps the bumper of the taxi.
Hey, are you blind? I'm walking here. Get out.
Why don't you go home before you kill yourself? Get out of the street.
Come on, go. Go.
Exterior Lieutenant Dan's hotel room. Later. A Hope Christmas special in Vietnam on television. Lieutenant Dan and Forrest watched the television.
I stayed with the Lieutenant Dan and celebrated the holidays.
You have a great year and hurry home. God bless you.
Have you found Jesus yet, Gump?
I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for him, sir.
Lieutenant Dan chuckles, drinks the rest of a bottle of wine, and tosses it down. He looks at Forrest. He wheels himself over to television and turns it off.
That's all these cripples down at the VA. That's all they ever talk about. Abascar?
Oh, okay. Lieutenant Dan picks up another bottle of port wine, but it is empty. He tosses it onto the floor.
Jesus this, Jesus that. Have I found Jesus? I even had a priest come and talk to me. He said, God is listening, but I have to help myself. Now, if I accept Jesus in my heart, I'll get to walk beside him in the kingdom of heaven.
Lieutenant Dan tosses the empty liquor bottle down and picks another bottle. He becomes enraged as he throws the bottle and looks at Forrest.
Did you hear what I said? Walk beside him in the kingdom of heaven? Well, kiss my crippled ass. God is listening. Huh, what a crock of shit.
I'm going to heaven, Lieutenant Dan.
Well, before you go, why don't you get your ass down the corner and get us another bottle of wine?
Yes, sir.
Interior Times Square bar. Night. A television shows Dick Clark as he MCs the Times Square New York celebration.
We are at approximately 45th Street in New York City at 1 Astor Plaza. This is the site of the old Astor Hotel. Down below us, well over 100,000 people are milling about, cheering with horns and whistles and hats.
What the hell's in Bayou La Bart?
Shrimping boats.
Shrimping boats. Who gives a shit about shrimping boats?
I gotta buy me one of them shrimping boats as soon as I have some money. I made me a promise to Bubba in Vietnam that as soon as the war was over, we'd go in partners. He'd be the captain of the shrimping boat, and I'd be his first mate. But now that he's dead, that means that I gotta be the captain.
A shrimp boat captain.
Yes, sir. A promise is a promise, Lieutenant Dan.
Now hear this. Private Gump here is gonna be a shrimp boat captain. Well, I'll tell you what, Gilligan, the day you are a shrimp boat captain, I will come and be your first mate.
Okay.
If you're ever a shrimp boat captain, that's a day I'm an astronaut.
Two sleazy women named Lenore and Carla walk up to Lieutenant Dan.
Danny, what are you complaining about?
What are you doing, huh?
Mr. Hot Wheels, who's your friend?
My name is Forrest Gump.
This is Cunning Carla and Long Limbs Lenore.
Carla puts a Happy New Year crown on Lieutenant Dan's head. Lenore fixes her makeup.
So, where you been, baby cakes? Haven't seen you around lately. You know, you should have been here at Christmas, 'cause Tommy brought on the house and gave everyone turkey sandwich.
Well, I had company.
Oh, hey, we was just there. That's in Times Square.
Lenore leans and speaks into Forrest's ear.
Don't you just love New Year's? You get to start all over.
Hey, Lemur, we.
Everybody gets a second chance.
It's funny, but in the middle of all that fun, I began to think about Jenny.
Getting wild out there. It's beginning to.
Interior apartment alley night. The New Year's Eve celebration over the TV.
Pour here in Times Square. It's been off and on all night, but these people hang in there.
Jenny fills her bag with her belongings.
Wondering how she was spending her New Year's night out in California.
A man lies passed out on the bed. Jenny looks at her black eye in the mirror, then leaves the apartment. The TV shows the ball in Times Square. Crowd over television. Interior Times Square bar, night. The ball is lowered, lighting up a sign that reads 1972. Crowd over television.
What?
One.
Happy New Year!
Happy New
Happy
Happy New
New
Year!
Year. Happy
Year!
New Year.
The people in the bar cheer and kiss each other. They blow horns and toss confetti into the air. Forrest looks around as Carla and Lenore lean over and kiss him.
Should old acquaintance be
Let's
We never
be
thought you
forgotten
might.
and
never brought
never brought to
to mind?
mind.
Happy New Year, Lieutenant Dan.
Should
Should
Old
all
old
acquaintance
acquaintance
acquaintance be
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 forgotten
forgotten
in
forgotten?
and
days of auld
days
lang
of auld
syne?
lang syne.
Interior Lieutenant Dan's house. Carla removes her top and sits on top of Dan in the wheelchair. They kiss and play around. Forrest sits in a chair. Lenore leaps on him and begins to kiss Forrest. She reaches down Forrest's crotch. Forrest stands up nervously, causing Lenore to fall down on the floor. Lenore stands up, angry.
What are you, stupid or something? What's your problem? What's his problem? Did you lose your pecker in the war or something?
What is your friend? Stupid or something?
What did you say?
I said, is your friend stupid?
Hey, don't call him stupid.
Lieutenant Dan throws Carla back onto the bed.
Push me like that.
Hey, don't you push her!
You shut up. Don't you ever call him stupid.
What's the matter, baby? Why are you treating me like a shit?
Get the hell out of here.
You stupid gimp! You belong in Ripley's Believe It or Not!
Oh, get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Go on.
You should be in a sideshow!
Go on. Get out of here. Get out of here.
You big loser!
Come on, Lamar. We don't need to stay taking this shit.
You're so pathetic.
Get out of here.
Lieutenant Dan falls out of his wheelchair and lands down on the floor. Carla and Lenore laugh as they leave the apartment.
You retard.
Loser, you freak!
Forrest tries to help Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan pushes Forrest away.
No.
Forrest steps back as Lieutenant Dan flips back over, then pulls himself back up onto his wheelchair. He breathes heavily.
I'm sorry I ruined your New Year's Eve party, Lieutenant Dan. She tastes like cigarettes. I guess Lieutenant Dan figured there's some things you just can't change. He didn't want to be called crippled, just like I didn't want to be called stupid.
Happy New Year.
Exterior White House night. An anchorman reports in front of the White House.
The U.S. ping pong team met with President Nixon today at the Oval Office ceremony.
And wouldn't you know it,
Present bus stop. Forrest looks at the fat man on the bus bench.
a few months later, they invited me and the ping pong team to visit the White House. So I went again, and I met the President of the United States again.
Interior White House Day. A plaque presented to Forrest reads, Presented to Forrest Gump, member of the United States table tennis team as Player of the Year for 1971. President Nixon holds the plaque.
Only this time, they didn't get us rooms in a real fancy hotel.
So, are you enjoying yourself in our nation capital, young man?
Yes, sir.
Where are you staying?
It's called the Hotel Abbott.
Oh, no. I know of a much nicer hotel. It's brand new, very modern. I'll have my people take care of it for you.
Interior Watergate Hotel Room. Night. Forrest speaks on the phone.
Matthew?
Matthew,
Matthew.
where
Yes,
are you?
yes, I'm here. Security, Frank Willis. Wills.
Forrest steps over to a window. Flashlights are moving around in an office across from Forrest's room.
Yes, sir. You might want to send a maintenance man over to that office across the way. The lights are off and they must be looking for the fuse box or something because them flashlights there, they're keeping me awake.
Okay,
Hey,
sir.
sir.
I'm sorry.
Is that my line?
I don't
Yes,
know.
Matthew.
Whose line is it?
That's Matthew's line.
Okay, sir, I'll check it out.
Thank you.
No problem.
Good night.
Good night.
Forrest hangs up the phone. The camera tilts down, revealing the hotel stationery, which reads, The Watergate Hotel.
Keep going. We're not there yet.
Interior Gymnasium Day. President Nixon makes a resignation speech on TV.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
The television cuts to a shot of President Nixon standing outside Air Force One with his hands in the peace sign.
Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office. As I recall the high hopes for America with which we began this second term, I feel a great sadness that I will not be here in this office.
Forrest is playing ping pong by himself at the gymnasium. An officer steps up to him.
Hmm. Sergeant Gump,
Yes, sir.
as you were. I have your discharge paper. Your service is now up, son.
The officer hands Forrest an envelope, then walks away.
Does this mean I can't play ping pong no more?
For the Army, it's done.
And just like that, my service in the United States Army was over. So I went home.
Forrest takes his paddle and runs out of the gymnasium. Exterior Gump House Day. Mrs. Gump walks out of the house and smiles. Forrest walks up to the house wearing his uniform.
And that's where we switch narrators and Forrest. I'm home, Mama.
I know.
Interior Gump House. Mrs. Gump and Forrest walk into the house.
Louise, he's here. Oh, he's here, everybody.
Now, when I got home, I had no idea that Mama had all sorts of visitors.
In the house are stacks of ping pong paddles and life-size cardboard cutouts of Forrest playing ping pong. The name on the ping pong paddle boxes reads Gump Mao Table Tennis.
We've all had all sorts of visitors, Forrest. Everybody wants you to use their ping pong stuff. One man even left a check for $25,000 if you'd be agreeable to saying you like using their paddle.
Oh, Mama, I only like using my own paddle. Bye, Miss Louise. With Louise?
Hey, Forrest.
Hey, Forrest.
I know that. I know that. But it's $25,000, Forrest. I thought maybe you could hold it for a while, see if it grows on you. Oh, and you look good, Forrest. Oh, you look real good.
That mama, she sure was right. It was funny how things turn out.
Exterior, Bayou La Batre, Bubba's mama's house, day. Forrest walks up to a shack on the edge of the bayou. A group of black kids play in the front yard.
I didn't stay home for long because I made a promise to Bubba, and I always try to keep my promise. So I went down to Bayou La Bart to meet Bubba's family and make their introduction.
Bubba's mother, named Mrs. Blue, and her other children look at Forrest.
Are you crazy or just plain stupid?
Stupid is as stupid does, Mrs. Blue.
I guess.
Exterior, Bubba's grave, day. Forrest steps over to Bubba's tombstone.
And of course I paid my respect to Bubba himself. Hey, Bubba, it's me, Forrest Gump. I remember everything you said, and I got it all figured out.
Forrest pulls out notes from his pocket.
I'm taking the $24,562.47 that I got.
Exterior, bayou, day. Forrest walks along a yard where men are cleaning shrimp.
Well, that's left after a new haircut and a new suit, and I took Mama out to a real fancy dinner, and I bought a bus ticket and 3 Dr. Peppers.
Forrest walks along a wooden pier. Forrest pays an old black shrimper a large wad of cash.
Hey, tell me something. Are you stupid or something?
Stupid is as stupid does, sir.
Exterior, Bubba's grave. Forrest stands at the grave.
Well, that's what's left after me saying when I was in China on the All-American ping pong team, I just love playing ping pong with my Flexo ping pong paddle, which everybody knows isn't true, but Mama says it's just a little white lie, so it wouldn't hurt nobody. So anyway, I'm putting all that on gas, ropes, and new nets, and a brand new shrimping boat.
Exterior, bayou, day. Forrest steers his shrimping boat. The boat is old and rusty. Forrest unleashes his nets as his catch of the day drops to the deck. It is a bunch of garbage and shells. Forrest picks up one shrimp.
Now, Bubba had told me everything he knows about shrimping, but you know what I found out? Shrimping is tough.
Exterior, docks. Forrest pulls a couple of shrimp out of a bucket.
I only caught 5.
A couple of more you can have.
You keep going.
Hey, you can have yourself a good cocktail.
The old shrimper begins to walk away, then stops and looks at Forrest.
Hey, have you ever think about boat before? It was only one I could think of.
No, you're the old shrimper.
Oh,
Now,
it is.
you ever think about naming this old boat?
I never named a boat before, but there was only one name I could think of.
Forrest paints a name on the side of his boat. The name is Jenny.
The most beautiful name in the whole wide world.
Interior, disco. Disco lights flash and people dance. A guy asks a girl to dance.
Girl?
Okay, okay.
Jenny sits at a table with some other people. She is snorting cocaine.
Now, I hadn't heard from Jenny in a long while, but
Exterior, Bayou La Batre Day. Forrest stands at the helm as the boat glides along the water.
I thought about her a lot, and I hoped that whatever she was doing made her happy.
Interior apartment, night. Drug paraphernalia and a large wad of cash are spread out on the table. A man drops a syringe on the table. He reaches over and touches Jenny. She is pale with dark lines under her eyes. Interior bathroom. Jenny smears some lines of cocaine on a mirror. She looks at herself in the mirror. Exterior balcony. Jenny steps out onto the high-rise balcony. She steps up on a table and stands on the edge of the balcony. A busy street lies many stories below. Jenny looks down to the intersection below. She slips over the edge, regains her balance, turns and looks back at the intersection below, and begins to get down from the edge. Jenny grabs a hold of the ledge and carefully climbs down. She sits down on a chair. Jenny rocks back and forth as she cries. She looks up at the sky. Exterior, Bayou La Batre, forest boat, night. The moon shines above in the sky. Forrest lies in a hammock on his boat.
I thought about Jenny all the time.
Exterior, forest boat, Bayou dock, day. Forrest stands at the helm of his boat and slowly glides by the docks. Forrest looks around and notices something and bends down to get a clear view. Lieutenant Dan sits in his wheelchair on the deck. Forrest looks at Lieutenant Dan. He smiles, surprised.
Hi.
Hi.
Cat, you're muted. Forrest leaps off of his moving boat and into the water. The boat continues as Forrest clumsily swims. Lieutenant Dan sits in his wheelchair at the edge of the dock. Forrest flails his arms as he swims up to the dock. Lieutenant Dan waits for Forrest, smoking a cigar. Forrest climbs up a ladder onto the dock.
Lieutenant Dan, what are you doing here? Oh, that's also, that would also be Aubrey's part. Deborah, do you want to
You
take
want me to
Lieutenant Dan?
Yeah.
I can
Well, I thought
How are you
I'll
feeling?
try out my sweet little legs.
Well, you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Well, wait, Captain Forrest Gump. I had to see this for myself, and I told you if you were ever to have a shrimp boat captain, that I will be your first mate. Well, here I am. I mean my word.
Okay.
Forrest shakes Lieutenant Dan's hand.
Yeah, but don't you be thinking I'm going to be calling you sir.
No, sir.
Forrest's boat glides, crushing a dock. Forrest and Lieutenant Dan look at it.
That's my boat.
Exterior, Bayou La Batre waters, day. Forrest's shrimping boat is alone on the Gulf waters.
I have a feeling if we head the right way, we will find some shrimp. So let's take to the left and take a left.
Forrest looks up. Lieutenant Dan is sitting in the rigging.
Which way?
Over there. They're over there. I'll get on the wheel and you take a left.
Okay.
Gump, what are you doing? Take a left. That's where we gotta go to find those shrimp. My boy, that's where we're gonna find them.
Forrest empties the net. Their catch is debris that falls to the deck.
Still no shrimp, Lieutenant Dan.
Okay, I was wrong.
Well, how we gonna find them?
Well, maybe you should have just pray to find some shrimp.
Interior, small church, day. The all-black gospel choir sings and claps their hands.
So I went to church every day.
Lieutenant Dan is sitting in his chair at the back of the church. He takes swigs from a liquor bottle.
Sometimes Lieutenant Dan came too, though I think he left the praying to me.
Exterior boat, another day. A catch of junk is dumped onto the deck. Lieutenant Dan lowers himself from the rigging.
No shrimp.
Where the hell is this god of yours?
The wind begins to blow strong.
It's funny Lieutenant Dan said that, 'cause right then, God showed up.
Exterior boat, night. Water sprays on deck during a hurricane. Lieutenant Dan on the rigging shouts and shakes his fist as he is pelted by wind and rain.
You'll never sink this boat.
Now me, I was scared, but Lieutenant Dan, he was mad.
Come on. You call this a storm?
Forrest slides back and forth as he attempts to steer the boat.
Blow, you son of a bitch. Blow, time for a showdown. You and me right there. Come and get me. You'll never sink this boat.
Interior Gump House, day. An anchorman over TV is standing in front of a pier.
Hurricane Carmen coming through yesterday.
Exterior Bayou Docks, day. The anchorman is standing in front of the ruined pier and boats.
Destroying nearly everything in its path. as it's in other towns and down the coast beyond La Bata. Entire shrimping industry
Interior Gump House.
has fallen victim to Carmen, has been left to the utter ruin, spreading with local officials. These reports has learned, in fact, only one shrimping boat actually survived the storm.
Forest boat comes down the river.
Louise, Louise, there's Forrest.
After that, shrimping was easy.
Forest boat, day. Lieutenant Dan and Forrest empty their net. A huge catch of shrimp falls onto the deck. Lieutenant Dan opens another big catch. Another catch drops open on top of yet another huge catch. Forrest and Lieutenant Dan smile.
And since people still needed them shrimps for shrimp cocktails and barbecues and all,
Exterior bus stop, present. A woman sitting on the bench listens to Forrest. An elderly woman sits next to the man.
and we was the only shrimp boat left standing. Bubba Gump Shrimp is what they got. We got a whole bunch of boats. 12 jennies, a big old warehouse, while even had hats that said Bubba Gump on 'em. Bubba Gump Shrimp. It's a household name.
Who's the man?
I don't know. I think that was
Oh.
Matthew.
I'm gonna have to leave around 11:15. It's getting late here in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. All right. Matthew, you want to take man?
Yeah. Hold on there, boy. Are you telling me you're the owner of the Bubba Gump Ship Corporation?
Yes, sir. We got more money than Davy Crockett.
Boy, I've heard some whoppers in my time, yet that tops them all. We was sitting next to a millionaire.
The man laughs as he walks away.
Well,
Uh-huh.
I thought it was a very lovely story, and you tell it so well with such enthusiasm.
Would you like to see what Lieutenant Dan looks like?
Well, yes, I would.
Forrest shows her the cover of a Fortune magazine with Forrest and Lieutenant Dan on the cover.
Well, that's him right there.
The elderly woman looks at the magazine and at Forrest with surprise.
And let me tell you something about Lieutenant Dan.
Exterior boat deck, day. Forrest and Lieutenant Dan are working on the boat.
Deborah?
I'm sorry about that. I didn't see that. Okay. Yeah. Forrest, I never thanked you for saving my life.
Forrest looks a little surprised. Lieutenant Dan smiles, then looks away. Lieutenant Dan pulls himself out of his chair to the railing and jumps into the water.
He never said so, but I think he made his peace with God.
Exterior boat. Forrest and Lieutenant Dan have dinner on the deck. The television shows an assassination attempt on President Gerald Ford.
For the second time in the 17 days, President Ford escaped possible assassination. Today, when the woman Sarah Jane Moore fired on him and stepped out of the hotel in San Francisco.
Base to Jenny 1. Base to Jenny 1.
Jenny 1, go, Marco.
Forrest has a phone call.
Yeah, well, we have to call him back. He is indisposable at the moment.
His mama is sick.
Oh, Loretta Alice Sims, a follower of Charles Manson, better known as Squeaky, attempted to assassinate the president as he was.
Forrest dives into the water as he reacts. Exterior road, Gump House, day. Forrest carries a suitcase as he runs down the road. Forrest runs past the row of mailboxes and turns into the drive. Louise and others are on the front porch.
Where's Mama? Vicky, can you take Louise?
She's upstairs.
Is that you, Evaskar?
Interior Gump
Yeah, it's
House,
me.
woman's bedroom. Forrest opens the door. The doctor stands next to Mrs. Gump in bed.
Hi, Forrest.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, all right.
We
The
sure
doctor
you got
looks down at Forrest's face.
we sure got you straightened out, didn't we, boy?
The doctor leaves and closes the door. Forrest takes off his hat and steps over to her.
What's the matter, Mama?
I'm dying, Forrest. Come on in. Sit down over here.
Why you dying, Mama?
Well, it's my time. It's just my time. Oh, now, don't you be afraid, sweetheart. Oh, death is just a part of life. It's something we're all destined to do. I didn't know it, but I was destined to be your mama. I did the best I could.
You did good, Mama.
Well, I happen to believe you make your own destiny. You have to do the best with what God gave you.
What's my destiny, Mama?
You're gonna have to figure that out for yourself. Oh, life is a box of chocolates, Forrest. You never know what you're gonna get.
Mama always had a way of explaining things so I could understand them.
I will miss you, Forrest.
She got the cancer and died on a Tuesday. I bought her a new hat with some little flowers on it.
Exterior bus stop present. The elderly woman and Forrest sit. The woman is crying and wipes her eyes with a hanky.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A bus stops. Forrest looks at the elderly woman.
Took off my hat.
Didn't you say you were waiting for the number 7 bus?
There'll be another one along shortly.
Now, because I was a football star and a war hero and a national celebrity and a shrimp and boat captain and a college graduate, the city of fathers of Greenbow, Alabama, decided to get together and offered me a fine job.
Exterior football field, day. Forrest rides a lawn tractor as he moves the football field lawn.
So I never went back to work for Lieutenant Dan.
Exterior Gump house mailboxes. Forrest takes out a letter and opens it.
Though he did take care of my Bubba Gump money, he got me invested in some kind of fruit company. And so then I got a call from him saying we don't have to worry about money no more.
Exterior bus stop.
And I said, that's good. One less thing.
Interior church, day. The choir and members are singing.
Now, Mama only said there's only so much fortune a man really needs.
Exterior church. The sign reads Foursquare Baptist Church. A new cross is placed on the steeple. New furniture is taken inside.
Abscar, that's you.
Is Deborah absent?
No, you're the Reverend.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And the rest is just for showing off. So I gave a whole bunch of it to the Foursquare Gospel Church.
Exterior hospital, day. The sign reads Gump Medical Center, Bayou La Batre, Alabama. The ribbon cutting ceremony.
And I gave a whole bunch to the Bayou La Batre Fishing Hospital.
Exterior Bubba's mom's house. A postman delivers a letter to Bubba's mom. She opens the letter.
And even though Bubba was dead and Lieutenant Dan said I was nuts, I gave Bubba's mummy Bubba's share.
She is surrounded by her many children. She looks at the check and faints. Exterior bus stop.
And you know what?
Interior Florida condo. A door opens as a white woman serves Bubba's mom some shrimp.
She didn't have to work in nobody's kitchen no more.
Smells wonderful.
Exterior football field. Forrest rides the mower.
And 'cause I was like Godzillionaire and I liked doing it so much, I cut that grass for free.
Exterior Gump house balcony, night. Forrest looks down the road as he steps out onto the porch.
But at night time, when there was nothing to do and the house was all empty, I'd always think of Jenny.
Jenny's image walks, then vanishes. Forrest looks away. He turns and walks into the house. Exterior Gump house, day. Jenny walks across the lawn to Forrest.
And then she was there. Matthew,
Yes?
you're Jenny in this scene.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Do you want to say your
Hello,
line?
Forrest.
Hello, Jenny. Jenny came back and stayed with me.
Interior Gump House. Jenny lies asleep in bed.
Maybe it was because she had nowhere else to go, or maybe it was because she was so tired, because she went to bed and slept like she hadn't slept in years. It was wonderful having her home.
Exterior countryside day. Forrest and Jenny walking.
Every day we'd go for a walk, and I'd jabber on like a monkey in a tree, and she'd listen about ping pong and shrimping boats and Mama making a trip to heaven. I did all the talking. Jenny most of the time was real quiet. Bit old gobs of rain and little bitty stinging rain and rain.
Jenny's old house stands at the end of the dirt road. It appears to be deserted. Jenny walks toward the house and stops. She stares at the house. Forrest walks toward Jenny. Jenny suddenly heaves a rock angrily at the house. She throws other things at the house.
Matthew?
How could you do this?
She breaks a window. Jenny collapses to the ground and sobs. Forrest kneels down next to her.
Sometimes I guess there just aren't enough rocks.
Exterior old oak tree day. Jenny and Forrest sit on a limb together.
I never really knew why she came back, but I didn't care. It was like olden times. We was like peas and carrots again.
Interior Gump House day. Jenny sits by the vase of flowers and looks out the window.
Every day I'd pick pretty flowers and put 'em in her room for her.
Exterior Gump House day. Forrest closes his eyes as he sits on the porch. Jenny places a box of Nike running shoes in his lap.
And she gave me the best gift anyone ever could get me in the whole wide world.
Okay, you can open your eyes.
New shoes.
They make them just for running.
Exterior Gump House night. Through the windows, Forrest and Jenny are dancing as it rains outside.
And she even showed me how to dance. And well, we was like family, Jenny and me.
Exterior river night. Jenny and Forrest sit on a log together and look at the river. Jenny places her arms around Forrest.
It was the happiest time of my life.
The fireworks explode in the sky. Interior Gump's house night. The Statue of Liberty is shown on TV. Fireworks go off. Forrest and Jenny are watching the 4th of July celebration on TV.
Let's see who our announcer
I
is.
think that was Deborah.
Yeah.
I can do it. And this fourth is witnessing one of the largest fireworks displays in the nation's 200-year history.
You done watching it?
Mm-hmm.
Here in New York Harbor, after the spectacular display of tall ships, earlier, the Statue of Liberty.
Jenny stands up and kisses Forrest on the cheek.
Oh,
Matthew?
you. I'm going to bed.
Jenny turns off the TV and walks outside. Forrest stands as he puts down his Dr. Pepper. Jenny walks toward the stairs.
Will you marry me? I'd make a good husband, Jenny.
You would, Forrest?
But you won't marry me.
You don't want to marry me.
Why don't you love me, Jenny? I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Forrest turns and walks towards the door. Jenny turns and walks up the stairs. Forrest stands outside. Exterior Gump House, night. The house stands in the rain. Exterior Gump House, night. Forrest lies in his bed as the door opens. Jenny gets into bed next to Forrest.
Jenny?
Forrest, I do love you.
Jenny and Forrest kiss. Jenny takes off her nightgown as they make love. Exterior Gump House, morning. Jenny carries her purse and walks toward a waiting cab.
That's you, Abiskar.
Where are you running off to?
I'm not running.
Interior
I'm-
Gump House.
I think
Is
the
this
action
switched?
description changes.
Is this where we switch?
We switch on page 72, which is this, and I think that's Deborah then. She gets action descriptions in this part.
Oh, and I think Avaskar was gonna take it when we talked
Oh,
earlier, right?
Yeah, but that's because Deborah. Oh, and
yeah,
Daviscar
Deborah,
Yes, yes, you can
Deborah
take
is
it
in.
because she had to leave.
Interior
Thank
Gump
you.
House. The cab drives away as Forrest is asleep in his bed. The Congressional Medal lies on a table by a ping pong paddle. Forrest holds a glass of milk and wears his bathrobe. He looks at the medal he had given to Jenny. Jenny's bed is made. Forrest stands in the doorway looking at the room and bed where Jenny had been. Exterior front porch day. Forrest sits on a rocking chair with his running shoes on. He is still, as if in a trance. He slowly puts on his Baba Gump cap. Forrest stands. He walks off the porch. He begins to jog across the lawn. His speed increases as he runs farther away. Forrest runs down the driveway away from his house.
Which of you would like Forrest, Vicky or Anamika?
I can do it.
Sure, thanks.
That day, for no particular reason, I decided to go for a little run.
Forrest runs to the end of the drive, then turns right and runs down the highway.
So I ran to the end of the road, and when I got there, I thought maybe I'd run to the end of town.
Interior barber shop day. The three men sit as they watch the television. Forrest runs through the main street of town.
President Carter, suffering from heat exhaustion, fell into the arms of security agents. And when I got there,
Exterior Alabama Road. The sign reads, entering Greenbow
I
County.
thought maybe I'd just run across Greenbow County. And I figured since I run this far, maybe I'd just run across the great
Forrest runs by a sign that reads, Mississippi welcomes you, the Magnolia State.
state of Alabama. And that's what I did. I ran clear across Alabama.
Exterior bus stop present.
For no particular reason. I just kept on going. I ran clear to the ocean.
Exterior Santa Monica Day. The sign reads, Santa Monica Yacht Harbor Sports Fishing Boat Cafes. Forrest runs under the sign and onto the pier.
And when I got there, I figured since I'd gone this far, I might as well turn around, just keep on going.
Exterior Atlantic Ocean. Forrest runs to a pier at the Atlantic Ocean.
When I got to another ocean, I figured since I'd gone this far, I might as well just turn back, keep right on going.
Forrest runs across the pier. A lighthouse stands at the end of the pier.
And when I got tired, I slept, and when I got hungry, I ate.
Exterior bus stop present.
When I had to go, I went.
And so you just ran?
Yeah.
Exterior highway. Forrest is running along the highway. Forrest runs down a road between field of wheat. A mountain river. Forrest runs across a cobblestone bridge. The Rocky Mountains are behind him in distance. Forrest runs through some meadowland. Split rail fences line the road.
I think a lot about Mama and Bubba and Lieutenant Dan. Most of all, I thought about Jenny. I thought about her a lot.
Exterior barbershop. The three men in the barbershop watch the news on television.
For more than 2 years now, a man named Forrest Gump, a gardener from Greenbow, Alabama, stopping only to sleep, has been running across America.
Interior coffee shop. Jenny fills customers' coffee cups.
Charles Cooper brings us this report.
Avaskar, you're also the newsman.
For the fourth time on his journey across America, Forrest Gump a gardener from Greenbow, Alabama, is about to cross the Mississippi River again today. The TV shows Forrest runs across a bridge that reads Mississippi River.
Matthew,
Matthew, Matthew, that's you.
right here.
All right. Sir, why are you running?
I'll be damned.
Upper one, upper one.
Go up one,
Sir,
Matthew.
why are you running?
Go up one. You're Jenny.
I'll
At the
be
top of the
damned,
page.
Forrest.
Exterior Mississippi Bridge.
Sir, why are you running?
Why are you running?
Why are you doing this for world peace?
Are you doing this for women's rights?
Or for the environment?
Or for animals?
Or for nuclear arms?
And they just couldn't believe that somebody would do all that running for no particular reason.
Why are you doing this? Sir.
I just felt like running.
Exterior bus stop present.
I just felt like running.
Exterior small eastern town. Forrest runs as a young man runs up to him.
I have a scar. That's you also.
It's you. I can't believe it's really you. Exterior bus stop present.
Now, for some reason, what I was doing seemed to make sense to people.
Exterior small eastern town. The young man jogs behind Forrest. Young man. Is that me again?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like an alarm went off in my head. I said, here's a guy that's got his act together. Here's somebody who's got it all figured out. Here's somebody who has the answer. I'll follow you anywhere, Mr. Gump.
So I got company.
Forrest runs up a slope on a high mountain road. A group of people are jogging behind him.
And after that, I got more company. And then,
A large group jogs behind Forrest across the desert road.
even more people joined in. Somebody later told me.
Exterior bus stop present.
It gave people hope. Now, I don't know anything about that, but
Forrest and his followers jog through a small town. A man runs up and talks to Forrest.
some of these people asked me if I could help them out. Hey, man, hey, listen, I was wondering if you might help me, huh? Like, listen, I'm in the bumper sticker business and I've been trying to think up a good slogan. And since you have been such a big inspiration to the people around here, I thought you might be able to, like, help me just jump into. Whoa, man, you just ran through a big pile of dog shit.
The hippie jumps over the dog shit as he runs along Forrest.
It happens.
What shit?
Sometimes.
The hippie stops to ponder this profound thought.
And some years later, I heard that fella did come up with a bumper sticker slogan.
A bumper sticker reads, "Shit happens."
And he made a lot of money off of it.
The truck with the bumper sticker drives into an intersection. It collides with a car. Exterior truck stop. Forrest runs, followed by his group, as a man runs up to him.
Another time I was running along and somebody who had lost all his money in the t-shirt business and he wanted to put my face on a t-shirt, but he couldn't draw that well and he didn't have a camera.
I think it would be really fortunate for me if I could get your name on these. Oh, your face and name on these t-shirts. It would be wonderful.
A truck splashes mud onto Forrest as it goes by. The man hands Forrest a yellow tissue to use as a rag to wipe the mud off.
Here, use this one. Nobody likes that color anyway.
Forrest wipes his face on the towel and hands it back to the man.
Have a nice day.
The man looks at the t-shirt. He holds it up, displaying the happy face.
And some years later, I found out that that man did come up with an idea for a t-shirt, and he made a lot of money off of it.
Exterior Monument Valley. Forrest runs with a group that follows behind him.
Anyway, like I was saying, I had a lot of company. My mama always said you ought to put the past behind you before you can move on, and I think that's what my running was all about. I had run for 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours.
Forrest stops running. The group stops behind him. Forrest stands and looks as the group waits expectantly. Forrest turns and look. Quiet, 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 quiet. He's gonna say something. He's gonna say something.
I'm pretty tired. I think I'll go home now.
Forrest walks toward the group. The group parts for Forrest as he walks down the middle of the road. Now, what are we supposed to do?
And just like that, my running days was over. So I went home to Alabama.
What are we supposed to do? A television show. So a television shows President Reagan and his staff as they react to gunshots in front of a limo.
Moments ago at 2:25 p.m., as President Reagan was leaving the Washington Hilton Hotel.
Interior Gump House Day. Forrest sits eating a sandwich, watching the news of the assassination attempt. God,
5
why
or
didn't
6 gunshots were fired by an unknown would-be assassin. The president was shot in the chest, and the assailant was immediately tackled by half a dozen lawmen. As the presidential...
I picked up a mail.
Oh, thank you, Miss Louise. And then one day, out of the blue clear sky, I got a letter from Jenny.
Exterior bus stop present. Forrest takes the letter out of his pocket.
Wondering if I could come down to Savannah to see her. And that's what I'm doing here. She saw me on TV running. I'm supposed to go on the number 9 bus to Richmond Street and get off and go 1 block left to 1947 Henry Street, apartment 4.
The elderly woman looks at the letter.
Why, you don't need to take a bus. Henry Street is just 5 or 6 blocks down that way.
Down that way?
Yeah, down that way.
Forrest hastily grabs his suitcase and letter as he stands.
It was nice talking to you.
Forrest runs. The elderly woman shouts from the bus stop bench. A truck honks its horn as Forrest runs across the street past the truck.
I hope everything works out for you.
Abiskar?
Is that me?
Yeah, keep going. Interior Jenny's apartment.
Okay. Enter Jenny's apartment day. Jenny opens the door.
Hey, Forrest, how you doing?
Ah,
Come in, come in.
I got your letter.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
Jenny shuts the door. Forrest looks around.
Is this your house?
Yeah, it's messy right now. I just got off work.
It's nice. You got air conditioning.
Forrest hands Jenny the box of chocolates.
I
Oh, thank you.
ate some.
Jenny picks up a scrapbook and turns the pages.
Hey, I kept I kept a scrapbook of your clippings and everything. There you are. This I got you. You're running.
I ran a long way for a long time.
There. Listen, Forrest. I don't know how to say this. I I want to apologize for anything that I ever did to you, because I was messed up for a long time. And
There is a knock at the door. Lynn Mary enters as he opens the door.
Yoo-hoo!
hey,
Hi!
Jenny grabs a young boy.
hey, you. This is an old friend from Alabama.
Oh, how do you do?
Listen, next week my schedule changes, so I'll be able to. But thanks for picking up.
Oh, no problem. Gotta go, Jen. I'm double parked.
Okay,
Lynn Mary closes the door and waves bye to Forrest.
Hi!
thanks. This is a very good friend, Mr. Gump. Can you say hi to him?
Hello, Mr. Gump. Hello. Now, can I go watch TV now?
Yes, you can. Just keep it low.
The little boy runs into the other room and picks up TV remote control.
You're a mama, Jenny.
I'm a mama. His name is Forrest.
Like me.
I named him after his daddy.
You got a daddy named Forrest, too?
You're his daddy, Forrest.
Forrest continues to stare at Forrest Jr. Forrest then looks frightened and starts to back away.
Hey, Forrest. No, look at me. Look at me, Forrest. There's nothing you need to do, okay? You didn't do anything wrong, okay?
Jenny turns and looks at Forrest Jr. in the other room.
Isn't he beautiful?
He's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But is he smart or is he?
He's very smart. He's one of the smartest in his class.
Forrest breathes deep. He looks at Jenny, then at Forrest Jr.
Yeah, it's okay. Go talk to him.
Forrest walks into the room and sits down next to Forrest Jr. Sesame Street is on the TV. Bert. Oh, great.
Hey, Bert, can you give me a hand?
Huh? Well, yeah, what do you want, Ernie?
What are you watching? Bert and Ernie. Well, it's the first stage, Bert. It's planning to write a story, Bert. I have pencils right here to write with, Bert. And now we got paper. I'll take that paper, Bert. See what we have the paper to write on.
Exterior park day. Forrest and Jenny sit on a bench. Forrest Jr. swings behind them.
Forrest, I'm sick.
What? Do you have a cough due to cold?
I have some kind of virus, and the doctors they don't know what it is, and there isn't anything they can do about it.
You could come home with me. Jenny, you and Lil Forrest could come stay at my house in Greenbow. I'll take care of you if you're sick.
Would you marry me, Forrest?
Okay.
Exterior Gump House day. The group has gathered on the lawn for the wedding. Louis walks up to Forrest. Please take your seats. Forrest, it's time to start. Jenny walks out of the
I'm
house,
back.
walks over to greet her. She wears a white dress. She walks up to Forrest and adjusts his necktie.
Hi, your tongue.
Lieutenant Dan is walking across the lawn. He uses a cane. A woman is walking next to him.
Lieutenant Dan! Lieutenant Dan!
Hello, Forrest.
Jenny walks over to Forrest and Lieutenant Dan.
You got new legs! New legs!
Yeah, I got new legs.
Lieutenant Dan lifts his pant leg to display his metal leg.
Custom made titanium alloy. It's what they use on the space shuttle.
Magic legs.
And this is my fiance, Susan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Susan shakes Forrest's hand.
Hi, Forrest. Uh, Lieutenant Dan, this is my Jenny.
Hi, it's nice to meet you finally.
Jenny steps forward and kisses Lieutenant Dan's cheek. The group is seated as they watch Forrest and Jenny take vows on the front row. Forrest Jr. stands next to Jenny, menaced. Do you, Forrest, take Jenny to be your wife? Do you, Jenny, take Forrest to be your husband? If so, I pronounce you man and wife. The wind blows fallen leaves across the ground. Jenny, Forrest, and Forrest Jr. Walk toward the house. They all hold hands as they walk. Interior Gump house, morning. Forrest steps into Jenny's bedroom. He carries a tray with breakfast on it. Forrest looks at Jenny as she sleeps. Slowly, she wakes up and looks at Forrest.
Hey,
Hey,
Forrest sets the tray down next to Jenny as she sits up in bed. Forrest opens a window, then sits down next to the bed.
hey, Forrest, were you scared in Vietnam?
well, yes. Well, I don't know.
Exterior Vietnam. Flashback. Night. Forrest looks up into the sky as the rain stops. Forrest removes his helmet. The stars emerge from behind the clouds.
Sometimes it would stop raining long enough for the stars to come out, and then it was nice. It was like just before the sun goes to bed down on the bayou.
Exterior Bayou. Flashback. Sunset. Forrest stands on his boat and looks at a deep orange and red sunset.
There was over 1,000,000 sparkles on the water, like that mountain lake.
Exterior Mountain Lake. Flashback Day. Forrest runs along a highway. A lake reflects the mountains and the sky.
It was
It
so
was so
clear,
clear.
Jenny. It looks like there were two skies, one on top of the other. And then in the desert, when the sun comes up,
Exterior desert, place flashback, sunrise. Forrest runs along a desert highway. The morning light casts an orange glow over the desert.
I couldn't tell where the heavens stopped and the earth began. It was so beautiful.
Interior Gump house, morning. Forrest looks at Jenny. Jenny looks out the window.
I wish I could have been there with you.
You were.
I love
Jenny,
you.
Jenny reaches over and takes Forrest's hand.
I love you.
You died on a Saturday morning.
Exterior Jenny's grave at Old Oak Tree Day. Forrest stands under the old oak tree where Jenny has been buried.
And I had you placed here under our tree.
Jenny's grave marker. Forrest tries to hold back his tears.
And I had that house of your father's bulldozed to the ground.
Exterior Jenny's old house day. Forrest watches as Jenny's dad's house is knocked down by a bulldozer.
Mama
Exterior Jenny's grave.
always
Always
said dying was a part of life.
Jenny's grave marker reads Jenny Gump, July 16, 1945 to March 22, 1982. Beloved mother, wife, and friend.
I sure wish it wasn't. Little Forrest, he's doing just fine.
Interior Gump House night. Forrest Jr. reads a book to Forrest, sitting next to him.
But he wasn't quite sure. Everywhere they went, the new guests about to start school again soon. I make his breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Exterior Jenny's grave. Forrest looks down as he sobs.
every day. I make sure he combs his hair and brushes his teeth every day, teaching him how to play ping pong.
Exterior Gump House, night. Forrest tries to teach Forrest Jr. how to play ping pong.
Okay, he's really good. Forrest, you go.
Forrest Jr. serves the ball, causing Forrest dive and miss it.
I have a story of a few more
Exterior Gump House, river, day. Forrest and Forrest Jr. sit on a log by the river and
We fish a lot.
fish.
We fish
Exterior
a lot.
Jenny's grave. Forrest. Exterior Jenny's grave. Forrest looks down at the grave marker.
And every night we read a book. He's so smart, Jenny. You'd be so proud of him. I am. He he wrote a letter and he says I can't read it. I'm not supposed to, so I'll just leave it here for you.
Forrest places the letter down at the grave marker, next to fresh flowers. The name on the envelope reads, Mom. Forrest steps back and looks down at the grave.
Jenny, I don't know if Mama was right or if it's Lieutenant Dan. I don't know if we each have a destiny, if we're all just floating around accidental like on a breeze, but I think maybe it's both. Maybe both is happening at the same time. I miss you, Jenny. If there's anything you need, I won't be far away.
As Forrest walks away, a flock of birds flies overhead and lands in the tree. Forrest turns and watches. Exterior road, morning. Forrest walks with Forrest Jr. for the bus. The bus drivers toward them.
Well, here's your bus, okay?
Forrest pulls courageous jars out of Forrest Jr.'s backpack.
Hey, I know this. I'm gonna show that for show and tell because Grandma used to read it to you.
Forrest looks at the book. The father from the beginning of the movie drops out of the book unnoticed.
My favorite book.
The bus comes to a stop. The door opens.
Well,
Forrest puts the book back into Forrest Jr.'s backpack and hands it to him.
okay. Hey, there you go.
Forrest Jr. walks toward the bus. Forrest stands up.
Hey, Forrest, don't. I wanted to tell you I love you. I love you too, Daddy. And I'll be right here when you get back.
Forrest Jr. looks into the bus and at the bus driver. It is the same bus driver, only older now, who drove Forrest to school when he was a young boy.
You understand this is the bus to school, don't you?
Of course. And you're Dorothy Harris, and I'm Forrest Gump.
Forrest Jr. looks over and waves to his father. Forrest nods approvingly. Forrest Jr. gets on the bus. The bus pulls away. Forrest stands next to the mailbox. Forrest sits down. The camera cranes down, revealing the feather as it lies at Forrest's feet. A gust of wind picks the feather up. The feather floats up into the air. Forrest sits on the side of the road. The feather floats higher into the air. The feather soars up into the sky and travels up and down, then covers the camera lenses. And that's the end
The
to the
end.
Forrest Gump, directed by Robert Zemeckis and played by Tom Hanks.
Awesome. Good job,
Hooray,
y'all.
good.
Yay, we're done.
How's my recitation?
Your recitation?
Yeah.
Oh, your actions and descriptions are just fine. Oh, there goes that accent. Oh my goodness.
That's fine. That's just fine.
Just fine. That's just fine.
It got a bump a little,
It was awesome. I
Yep.
can't wait for Gremlins next week.
Oh, Matthew, same here.
Good job recasting on the fly, Cat. That was a lot.
Well, I had the running list here, but yeah, that was
Hi
was
ho,
really
hi
tough.
ho.
so I know it's really late. If anyone wants to stay and chat, I'd be happy to, but I know I need to get a little break because I haven't been able to leave my computer for 2 hours. So if you want to stay and chat, that's great.
I'm
But
right
like
here.
a 5 minute break at least. So if you need to go, you need to go, and that's fine. So
No, I'm sitting here.
all right.
Vicky,
Well, I'm
Vicky
gonna
loves to
dash.
make
You
it.
guys, since if you need a break, you
That's right.
can go take one too. Otherwise, you guys can chat too. So I'll be right back.
Okay. We're gonna chat, I guess. We're live right now, aren't we?
I know. She's left us unprepared. What do we talk about?
Yeah,
Well,
damn. What do we
I
talk
didn't
about?
cry when Mrs. Gump died, but I couldn't help but cry when Jenny died.
Oh, me too. Jesus, and I
That
had
was a
all the
sad
lines
one.
I had to yeah, that was tough.
It was.
In fact, I'm still not quite done.
Yeah, I had to turn my video off at the end so I could like cry a little bit while while Abascar finished us off.
Yeah.
So moving.
It was.
Yeah, very, very good show.
I want to talk something controversial today.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm gonna.
He would like to, but he's not going to.
I am. I have promised you I will.
Are you gonna wait for Kat? Because I'm sure she'd
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to.
I want Cat involved in this.
Yeah.
I want people fighting in YouTube, in the chats. Hey, Vicky, I did my hair today. Do I look good?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that hair.
There. I took a shower yesterday night. And don't ask me, it's so cold right now outside. And I'm in my room and the heat is up here. That's why I'm able to be uh, sitting here chilling. Not chilling, warming up.
So how cold is it?
It's winter and it's wait, let me see the temperature. It's 6 degrees Celsius right now outside.
Oh, that is chilly.
Oh,
It is. If I go like 50 kilometers, up to another city, it's snowing there. It's literally snowing there.
it's
I'm near the mountains, so
it's
Right.
43 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is actually
20,
about the same. It's about the same. I just did the
20
math.
degree, 20-degree Fahrenheit.
I got a peek.
No, it's 43 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 6 degrees.
Yeah, 7, I think.
Sixers, yeah. I did it the other way around.
Yeah, something around that.
6 degrees Celsius is 42.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're about the same temperature here.
Yeah, Cat, we're nerding up on weather now.
On weather. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
about the same here as it is there. And so around 43 degrees Fahrenheit or 6 degrees Celsius.
It's cold.
We have
It's
learned.
cold. It's cold everywhere. Where are you from, Enemy?
I
Anyway,
win. It's -8.
Yeah, so it's yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Canada.
No,
Vicky.
it's about 21 Fahrenheit.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. -8 Celsius. Okay.
So
This is an
it's cold.
educational
It's
reading
cold.
today, y'all. We're learning about Celsius and Fahrenheit.
Well, I can only transfer Celsius to Fahrenheit from between 10 degrees Fahrenheit to 30 degrees Celsius, So whatever
Hey,
those
hey
90
guys.
degrees, right? Ish. 10 to 90, but if it's
I just pulled up a thing online that does it.
10 to 30,
Yeah,
10 to 30
is very
Celsius I can do.
Hey guys, welcome to the weather reads Tuesday. So we're talking about how cold the weather is today.
And if we were in Alabama,
Let's see what it is in Alabama.
All right,
Or-
you Google
Or
Alabama.
in Nepal.
Alabama
I'm from
temperature.
Nepal, by the way.
It's
If you
58
folks
degrees in
folks on the YouTube are watching me,
Gage
I'm
Mountain.
from the land of the mountains, the biggest mountains in the world, the tallest Mount Everest. It's right up 200 kilometers around 130 miles away from me right now.
Cool. What was the temperature in Alabama, Anamika?
Alabama is 58 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 14.4 Celsius.
Oh God, the Mississippi wind is blowing.
Fun.
Yep.
Yeah, this one, and good job, Anamika, on all those quick accent changes.
Yeah,
That was fun.
when I hear Alabama, I don't know, it triggers those Hallmark movies in my mind, like our heroes coming back home. It's winter, it's snowy outside. There's a tree, a Christmas tree inside. The bells are.
I don't think it
Yeah.
snows in Alabama.
I don't know, isn't it Alabama? I don't know. Maybe I'm not
I
that
don't think so.
I think it's too far
great of a
south.
person. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
kinda, kinda. And it's up in the state. I'm Vicky for sure. I
And
am looking at that Christmas tree. It's beautiful.
thank you. It's only half decorated. I just can't quite get to it.
Oh,
The top half or the bottom half?
The top half, because I knew that would be on screen.
yeah, I should be. Vicky and I are twinning today.
And I
I
just
got the
wanted
same
to
microphone.
say, I'm about an hour and a half from the Rocky Mountains. Just-
I don't know what to make sense of that. Is it far or near?
they're quite near. Yeah. Yeah. Foothills are about an hour away. Yeah. Just to complete that circle.
Vicky is in Alberta, aren't you?
Alberta?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, and I'm about 2 hours from the top of the mountain and 2 hours from the bottom of the sea, or the edge of the ocean, I should say.
Where is it
You
exactly?
cover Washington, it's about an hour south of Seattle, so it's
Ah, capital.
2 hours to the coast and 2 hours to Mount Rainier. Probably closer, depending on how high
I
you want to
just
go.
might be there, Cat,
I
for
can
the
see
next.
snow and the ocean in the same day.
See, that's lucky now. I've never seen ocean in my life. I've seen mountains.
Oh,
I've
really?
went to the mountains. It's never ocean.
Now,
Yeah.
the listeners might think this is not related to Forrest Gump, but it is because he would run all over the
Yes.
From
place.
ocean to ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you
See, that's a
imagine
full
that,
circle,
though?
guys.
Can you imagine just running and from
Yeah,
coast to coast for 2 years?
3 years.
3 years, was it 3?
it was 3 years and few months.
Yeah, I forget the rest of it.
That's a lot of
I
running.
ran off. No, I ran off this morning. I woke up early. I wanted to watch Forrest Gump once again, but
Again.
I don't know. I
The last
did
time you fell
actually.
asleep and you you couldn't get back to
I woke up around 3 in the morning, just so that I could watch it fresh again. But I don't want to curse here, but heck you, Amazon, freak you. It was on Amazon Prime, and I had got the subscription so that I can see it, but I looked it up and it was for rent there. I had to pay extra $3 just to watch it. I have to rent the movie now after getting the subscription.
Well, that's
Amazon,
dirty.
you're scamming. Don't get Amazon if you're all watching. Get Netflix. That's better.
And
Still
that
have
will
my
be the end
subscription.
of our sponsors for
I was
today.
gonna say.
They could be. Come on. We're so great marketers here. Come on. We're international. Yeah.
We refuse to pay anything. If anyone sends us a bill, we're not gonna.
That is.
We should send them a bill for marketing for them.
Yeah, really, we should be paid.
Wow, we're all
Why
getting a little loopy. It must be related. What
we're
is
getting
that?
on a loop.
Oh yeah, it's
I
been
wanted
moving.
to talk something controversial today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Controversial but relevant?
Yeah, very relevant.
Okay.
The most relevant thing. What do you think of the 1994 Oscars? Who should have gotten the Best Picture award at
Oh,
the
for this
at the
year.
sixth or seventh? What was it? I don't
What
know.
what were the options?
1994 Oscars Academy Awards.
What were the options?
There were no options. There was a feud
No
between two
options.
movies. One between Robert Zemeckis and another with Quentin Tarantino. Forrest Gump, humanly very emotional movie versus the Raggedy Rock uh by Tarantino, Pulp Fiction.
All right.
And I'm
I
sure you guys have an opinion on this. I
what
am
did you
quite
say?
sure. You know,
Because
on
94
the
was like
1994 Oscars,
no,
the feud for the Best Picture at the
94
Oscars.
was Schindler's List, Remains of the Day.
No, it was in 1992.
Hmm?
Schindler's List. Wasn't it 92? I don't know,
No.
92 or 91, I think.
All
Schindler's
right,
List.
let's see.
For sure it was not 94. Was it?
67, let's see. 95.
Yeah, it was 95. I got my facts ready.
Oh, it's okay. I just didn't know what the options were. Oh yeah, okay, we got Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemption. That's a good movie. Pulp
Shawshank
Fiction,
Redemption, the highest
uh,
rated movie on IMDb.
and Four Weddings and a
One of my
Funeral.
favorites too.
Hey, Abiskar, will you let her finish the list?
Okay.
Oh, I don't know
We can answer your question.
which were audible or not. But the
Yeah.
the nominees were Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Quiz Show, and Four Weddings and a Funeral, which is a surprise to me.
Three of them are my favorite all times.
I mean,
Classic.
Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction are both very, very good movies.
Very good.
Seen Quiz
Very
Show.
good. You
I
you
believe
know,
we read Shawshank Redemption in the first
we did.
season.
We did.
Yeah,
It's really good.
yeah. And Pulp Fiction, wow.
It's really good too.
Yeah.
It has Shawshank Redemption. It has one of the best lines ever, that monologue, that letter at the last, one of the last scenes there. That I read, he reads that,
Mhm.
from that Boxton letter that what was our protagonist's name? I forgot it. Oh shit. What was it? What is the name? Ah,
I don't remember
YouTube is
either.
screaming at you with it,
We
but
got the dialogues. Yeah, hope is the best thing. Hope is a good thing. Maybe best of best of the things.
hope. That was the
Yeah.
line about hope.
Yeah, the last letter.
hmm
I don't remember it. So I think the nominations were those five, and majorly I think the feud was between Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump because Shawshank didn't do well at the box office. Not that
Not a
good.
feel-good movie,
It
but
was praised by critics. And it was later on, it bombed uh, some way. It was a good movie. It was mainly between Forrest Gump versus Pulp Fiction, the quiet, slow, emotional movie versus the fast-paced, raised movie, all of violence and thrill.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. Pulp Fiction was a really good movie too, though.
Yeah, it was
It wasn't
new.
just like action and violence, like
Yeah,
it
it was
had soul
something
to
new.
it as well. So what's your
Yeah.
controversial take? You think Pulp Fiction should have won?
What do you think?
I don't, I think all three of the ones that I mentioned are good and
And
deserve
they
to.
all are. They're all one of my favorites, but I don't know, Pulp Fiction, you know, it was new for its time. The kind of script Quentin Tarantino wrote, and that kind of movie wasn't traditional in a sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Looking at what usually would get the best picture, yeah,
Mhm.
it wouldn't be Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I mean, Forrest Gump was a sentimental Forrest Gumpy movie. It got that I've read a review somewhere. The boomer nostalgic fest. I read it somewhere. Yeah, it got that kind of, slow-paced vibe. Well, Tarantino's and in the Oscars, it's mostly those fast-paced, a little more edgy kind of films that went. It's different with Forrest Gump.
What was
I,
that?
I, I think I think Forrest Gump deserved it.
Yeah.
Well, having never seen Pulp Fiction, I couldn't comment on that one. But
I mean, for me, it would be
I was
between
waiting
Forrest
for that.
Gump and Shawshank Redemption. Those would be my choices. But
I did see that
Okay,
one.
okay, I got three controversial lines here.
So getting back to this script and this reading,
Mm. Now,
when you know
Cat is the host again. I
yes.
resign.
Thoughts on this second half compared to the first half, or we see a lot of character shifts, I guess, and especially in Jenny's journey. Although maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's more Forrest that changes. I'm not sure, but we do
Yeah.
get to see our characters, both of them, mature.
Yeah.
Ah,
Forrest, he evolves a lot. Um, and the thing about Forrest is he becomes his environment. He's very malleable and very
ductile.
influenced by what's going on around him. And Jenny, she was fighting trauma. She was fighting her upbringing and then who she chose to leave with. Yeah, she made bad choices.
yeah, I
But
wonder
not
if
in the
that.
end.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if that maturing that Forrest goes through, though, is that he's essentially left as a single dad, raising this kid who he has no idea what he's doing. I assume Miss Louise is going to stick around and help him out, but like he's been, raising this kid by
Yeah.
himself by the time we see him at the bus stop. He's gone through this whole journey. Oh wait, no, he's going to. Oh wait, no, 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 at the end. Because at the bus stop, he's going to find her and then they have the life together, right? Is that how the timeline goes?
At
Yeah.
the bus stop?
Well, like most of the movie takes place with him at the bus stop.
The where he's sitting down, not the. I'm
In the
sorry, not the
story.
bus. The little Forrest is taking to school.
No, no, no. When Big Forest is telling his life story, and then he goes to reconnect
Then he
with.
goes to find Jenny. Yeah, after he talks to the elderly lady, and then
So
he
yeah,
discovers he
so
has a
like
kid.
I feel like that, and then it kind of jumps to the end where he would have gone through this a really hard period of having to raise his kid by himself, um, not really knowing what to do as a dad and having to figure it out and do the best he can.
In the first half of the movie, you would never think of him as being able to have a child that he was taking care of alone. But because of what he learns, and Jenny, she realizes that in his own way, he's very smart. So
Mhm.
she knows it's safe for Forrest Jr. to be raised by him. Yes, he should have some help. But
It's true.
yeah. Yeah, it's a surprising ending, really. And you miss the fact that nobody cried when Mrs. Gump passed, but we all cried when Jenny passed.
including me, and I had to keep it together.
So that was
Cheers.
intriguing. But like Mrs. Gump said, it was her time.
Hmm.
And it's hard to say goodbye to anybody, but when it's a natural time like that, it's easier to accept. Yeah.
But yeah, Jenny being cut off prematurely was a lot harder.
Yeah. And really, Forrest and her, they're just starting to have a real life together
Hmm.
and it's cut short. So that's sad in itself, too.
And Anamika, I absolutely loved your pause when before saying, yes, I'll marry you, there was this pause, because you would think that's the first thing he would do is just jump in and say yes. But he's so shocked that she
Yeah,
actually wants to marry him that it took a
Mhm.
sec.
it took
I
him
thought
a
it was a
to like
great
Yeah, he
realize
just
choice.
it.
recited. He just recited. I think he just said, uh, "Okay."
Yeah, and it's just a simple okay, but it was so there was just one little word, but so poignantly spoken. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tom Hanks
Hmm.
enemy, the Tom Hanks.
And a great example of how much power there is in silence.
Oh yeah, right.
I know, and it's really hard to do on Zoom because, especially this format, because the camera doesn't jump to the person who's supposed to be speaking next, because it doesn't know who's supposed to be speaking next. So I don't know if you guys see that, when we record it, but because you can't see all of us at once, unfortunately, I haven't figured out a way to do that on YouTube with sharing the script on the screen. Believe me, I tried looking, but um, other than lots of editing afterwards, which is beyond my time ability to do so. But yeah, it's that amount of silence in that thing and just a, what do you call it, face game, right? Uh, um, it's just so poignant how much you can convey in one little word.
Yeah. Yeah. Angel was editing them for the first little while, but it takes a lot of time. And yeah, she realized I can't continue to do this. And being Angel, she was hoping she would pick it up again, and but that never happened. Yeah. So edited, I think it's a lot easier to watch us after it's been recorded, but I don't think it's necessary though. No, I think it's interesting to see how it comes across.
Definitely something to be said for watching it raw.
Yeah.
So,
And
um,
if you search Forrest Gump on Google, you find an avatar, running on the top of the search bar. There would just be a guy running.
cool.
A
I
good
also wanted
tribute
to
to the movie.
mention the feather. Someone mentioned last week about how the feather
Mhm.
opens our film and how it closes our
And
film. Hmm.
yeah, it's all the same with Robert Zemeckis movie. By the way, Robert Zemeckis is the director of the uh, movie Forrest Gump, and every movie he made with Tom Hanks, there are around I think six or seven. Forrest Gump being one of them, and every movie has that crossroad where he starts and ends on the same scene almost every time.
So,
Like
what other
it's the
movies was that?
same. It was Cast Away that I saw yesterday night. I did. I was on a spree. I was speed running his movies, and another was the Polar Express.
Mm.
Oh, that's true. That does kind of start in the same way, doesn't it?
And what
Yeah,
about Big? There's the probably not the beginning and the end, but it's close. The game that he goes and gets, I guess, cursed, you could say. And he becomes an adult. And he's not really. And then he has to go back and find that machine again, the fortune teller machine.
Voltron.
oh yeah, that one and Flight. Why there's all movies something about crashing a plane, crashing a ship, crashing into the war. A lot of disasters
I
in
was
movies.
realizing too, as we were, because I remember last week, someone mentioned that the feather begins and ends, and I was like, oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. And then as we got there today,
Uh,
and and like and getting to read Forrest in that part, it made me realize that feather does kind of represent life, right? Like the combination of being blown around and yet then you end up right where you end up, and that's right where you are,
That's
right where
that's
you
a
need
good
to be.
analogy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that whole destiny versus the whole Lieutenant
Oh,
Dan versus
yeah.
Mrs. Gump
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah.
What is
And
it?
it's a mix of both, right? You just kind of go where the wind takes you, and then you end up right where you should.
That makes sense.
Yep, I like it. Probably a good note
Let's
to end
let's let's
on.
write a movie.
It is. It's perfect.
Thoughts. Really good.
Let's make a
We
movie.
next week we have Gremlins.
Uh-huh.
I forget what year it is, but again, I think similar time period, maybe even
Yeah.
earlier. A Christmas movie, if you want to put monsters in with Christmas. It certainly happens in the snow, wintertime.
Not
Yeah.
your classic Hallmark
Not your
movie.
classic Christmas Hallmark type movie, no.
Right.
So we
No.
had a big debate the other day about what is a Christmas movie. Is it a movie that happens at Christmas time, or does it actually have to have a Christmas theme, or is it just a movie you go watch, like Lord of the Rings, which all came out in December? I'm not quite sure
Well,
that qualifies, but
Christmas is very integral in Gremlins.
mhm.
The young girl, the girl that works, she's a waitress, I guess, and her father and Christmas. I won't say more in case you haven't seen it, but it's integral.
I will watch.
And we'll probably only get through the first half and have to finish the other half in January because we'll be taking a break at the very end of December.
It will be a
Much needed
long
break.
Christmas. It will
So,
be a long Christmas, guys.
right. But I think the event is already up on our page if you want to sign up for a speaking part. And then we'll have it out hopefully cast list out next Monday, maybe, or try to get it out there early. We'll see.
By the way, Aviskar is also writing something, and maybe if he completes it in few weeks, we'll be reading it here. Maybe.
All right.
Are we?
Send it to us,
Aren't
take
we?
a
Aren't
look.
we, Kat?
All right. But if there's nothing else, I'm going to call it a night, and so we can all go to bed or get dinner or get up and do something for the day, depending on what
Yeah, I
country you're in.
start the day after taking a nap, probably
Yes.
because someone woke up at 3 in the morning.
Yes. Well, if you have a lot of things to do, it's best to get the nap out of the way first, I always say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all
No,
right. Good night, you all.
I'm
Have
going
a
to
good
try
night.
and eat. That's my quest.
Me too. Find some dinner. All right.
Okay.
I
Well,
have to go for my class. I have to go for my flute class.
All right. Bye.
bye.
I'm going to cut you off.